What is going on, guys? Today we'll be going over our pre-weekly call for the week of January 16th, 2023. As usual, we'll be starting with dollar. So we were looking for lower prices last week. Narrative was off. Dollar was just super heavy all week. Hop up into the weekly chart. So based on this, I'll be looking at this sell side as our draw. Here, so risk on narrative. Let's delete a couple things. I don't need this right now. We can leave this. Don't need this on the weekly. So weekly draw, that's that. And we do have inefficiency below these levels. So below this, if we displace below this low and like create a fair value gap that overlaps with this low, I'll be looking to target lower, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Narrative wise, we do have a fair value gap and a daily opening gap right above 30 today's price. So narrative looking something like this for lower prices. Where's my path tool? Possibly lower if we take out this low to find the range, and then this fair value gap that overlaps with this imbalance here, and then lower. Pretty simple. Let me drop in real quick. So yeah, I like this because after sell side we have a internal liquidity that's paired with a daily fair value gap to be swept. So yeah, so risk on for the week. And let's go over indexes next. There's really no clear draw for me on the weekly. Let's zoom in a little bit. So this is rejection block ideas here. So I'd be curious to see what price does at this level. ICT drew people's attention to the halfway of this wick, which is a little higher. This is where ICT is drawing people's attention to here. I'd be concerned with this high because we have this lower time frame pool of liquidity right below it here. As far as daily narrative goes, there's really not a whole lot. Last week, I was directing everyone's attention to this order block after we took out this buy side liquidity pool or this old high. We didn't quite get there on SPY. We did leave a small daily fair value gap here. So if sometime early in the week we decide to draw down on the forecasted dollar narrative, yeah, so risk on to start the week, to end the week, risk off to open the week. Sorry. So something like this, there's just, you can't really see without the tiling, but these two candle bodies don't line up. So this is a small volume imbalance here. So price could drop into that, come down lower, mitigate this inefficiency, and seek this buy side pull and then this rejection block. Put that on the chart. Also, I've switched from CFD data to futures data. ICT said he'll be doing, commentaries and walkthroughs, and he'll be tweeting intraday and pointing people's direction to certain areas. It's just much easier to follow along with CFD data because all the levels are the same. Not CFD, futures data, because all the levels are the same. So that is why I have moved from CFD to futures. Hop into NASDAQ. NASDAQ is the same, but I'm just going to use this failure swing here. NASDAQ hasn't left any inefficiencies below us. I was also looking for this order block to be traded back into, just fair value gap. So this is institutional order flow entry drill. So prices being spooled higher. I'm going to drop down into a 12-hour and see if there's something that we can take up. I'd probably watch this candle right here. This is a reclaimed block. It's the only PD right in the area. So I'd be, because you'll be coming down into below this. So this give us short-term discount. There's also a daily liquidity pool here. So if we were to trade lower to open the week, I'd be watching this range because this is closed in. This is closed in. No reason to come back down here. Like that 12-hour. And this is a breaker right here. So I suspect the possibility of trading up into this. And this is quite a large range. I'm not going to highlight the whole candle, but into the breaker. Like this, down here, and then up into this buy side pool. Where's the 50 fib of this? I am going to annotate the midpoint of this breaker. Like that. Okay. And Dow. So Dow, unlike the others, I wasn't looking for the order block. I was simply looking for the fair value gap after it was created, which it did, leaving behind no inefficiencies. I am going to ride. ICT's coattails here a little bit. And use this wick because this is just simply too close for me to target. As far as narrative, these two consecutive down close candles are an order block. As reflected on the daily as well. It's also paired with this old fair value gap here. Start with the lower. Which is now acting as a balanced price range. So that should be looked at as support. So we have a daily liquidity pool here, equal lows, relative equal lows here and here, and an order block inside what should be a balanced price range. So this should be used as support. And I'm going to highlight the whole range of this wick, as well as these liquidity pools, because I'll be looking for models at these sell side pools. There and there. There's also an inefficiency here. So if we decide to run for these relatively equal lows, I'll be looking at this inefficiency on the 12-hour. Inefficiency plus order block. So yeah. Gonna drop down and see if there's a level. We are trading in inefficiency right now. I'd watch this as well. Is this a daily candle? No. Order block idea on the 4-hour, then down into this range. I'm not going to forecast what specific one in here. I would like to see the equal lows ran and then run higher. Gold didn't even come down to run out this inefficiency or the order block prior to running higher. But I have no crazy strong conviction about gold right now. We have weekly order block here with liquidity that got run out there. So I'd look for the reaction here. I don't feel too strongly about this right now. I would like to see it go higher. I was initially looking for lows to be ran out, but price didn't have any inclination to do so. Come back down in here. But so these will be my 2 points of interest over the next couple of weeks. I'd probably just safest target is this order block paired with this inefficiency here. As far as narrative goes, I'm gonna have to wait to see what price does. To be honest, we're not looking like we want to respect this daily gap or weekly opening gap here. We do have this breaker, breaker here. So I'd watch this. If price wants to trade straight through that without showing respect, we have inefficiency. I'm actually going to highlight this whole area right here. You have a fair value gap and a BPR that are kind of together. You have this small inefficiency here and this one right above it. So I'm going to highlight the whole range. So this is the highest point of the two areas. We're going to look at that. So I'd look for something like this. Trade back down into this gap, use it as support, and then use that. Yeah, but price is not showing any reason to be stopping it. It has to respect a bearish PD array on the daily for us to actually look for internal, right? So see how like this is the beginning of last week's narrative, right? Right here, where I'd said that we're going to create this gap and then trade back down into this order block slash FVG. Price didn't even come back down below the last high it ran. So this right here, these two candles, and this swing low really, this is internal liquidity. So we have to define this range. So once price gives us a reason to look back inside, then we can start looking at these PD arrays. I know this is left open, but price has to show me that it wants to come back down into this area. Now, if it's not respecting this weekly opening gap, because it did close slightly above it, the candle, the gap high is 1919.93, and price closed at 1920.11. Right, so price didn't even respect the weekly opening gap on a weekly close. So I suspect that price is going to immediately trade higher prior to coming lower. Right, and if it does, I'm not going to be looking at this fair value gap until it shows me a willingness to come below the new fair value gap that will be created, and as well as using this opening gap as support. Let's hop into currencies. By default, you can see that we're going to be looking for higher prices. AU did kind of what I wanted this past week. Didn't spend nearly as much time as I thought it was in this daily imbalance, but traded back down into the daily imbalance after it was created and then left. I'd still be looking at this order block midpoint. Here as the likely draw. That's conservative. We're also pairing that with a fair value gap right above us. So we have something to draw up. As far as narrative goes, the only thing that I see right now is this newly created order block here. So let's hop into the 12-hour. Yeah, I'd be looking at particularly the top of the order block, this range right here. And this is the daily, but the 12-hour shows more consecutive down close candles, so that's a better depiction of price. I'd look to be there. We did have a gap down on price. Not going to get into that now, but price looks something like this to me here, swing high, this area, and this blue box can be also extended down into this candle body here and then up. And that's like target 1, and then target 2 would be this daily inefficiency here. It's the range there. Yeah, easily doable. Easily doable. These are very modest targets. I mean, very modest targets for AU. If it wants to move, sometimes it just doesn't. So EU, another sign. EU's did not even come down into this fair value gap. Weekly close finally outside of this weekly fair value gap here and above liquidity. Very strong close. We do have equal highs plus an inefficiency, unmitigated inefficiency. So I would like to say that's the draw there. And you have these consecutive down close candles before the up move, before the shift in market structure. So this is also a breaker here. Let me finish this. So you have a lot of overlap at this level because this wick from the breaker also extends down into that zone, as well as there's a large pool of liquidity sitting here. This is like the pool of liquidity that indexes rated in August prior to our large move down. So if we were going to see some retracement back into like this order block / fair value gap, I would suspect it to come from this area. What am I looking for? I'm looking for this. And this is your breaker. As far as narrative goes, we're going to drop timeframes. We have a short-term low inside of inefficiency. And if we displace above this high, this becomes an order block. So it's either going to be like this, and we're going to take out this low and then trade higher, or it's going to trade up, use this order block as support, and then trade higher. I don't like to often give two instances in price, but it's realistically the same narrative. It's just a matter of if we use these two consecutive down close candles as an order block or not. Yeah, that's probably the first time I've ever given like two narratives. Okay, so close as far as narrative goes. Didn't quite make it into the order block. But overall narrative was good. Target was perfect. Moving into this week, not giving me a whole lot because the end of the week was a lot of consolidation. Order block ideas. And then, so this is an order block, bearish order block, balanced price range. Balanced price range high paired with the order block. So I'd expect hard rejections from this level late in the week. Small range for GU. I'll revisit this if we get to this sooner. And don't show signs of retracement. Above that would obviously be, I'd use this candle first. So here, and then if not showing signs of rejection, buy side. UCAD, perfect. Expected expansion lower into daily fair value gap, retracement higher into daily fair value gap, newly created daily fair value gap, and then lower. So I will still be looking lower here into this liquidity pool. And for those of you who've been keeping up with my YouTube, you know why I'm picking this wick as opposed to this wick. So we're going to keep the same narrative. We have created a short-term high inside of inefficiency. So we can technically still run up, take this out, and then trade lower. I see no real reason to do it though. So concern would just be, short term, really Monday. We are using this order block as support. So week opening is giving me conflicting testimony or thoughts right now, because this fractal here, rejection block, shifted market structure here with this swing high. I'm gonna delete this. This swing high was violated, making this an order block, and we are using this as support right now. So we could be using this support to run out these highs. This is a possibility. Run up these highs, dig into this inefficiency, use this as our breaker or mitigation block, because this is a lower high, and then come lower. But we'll get confirmation of this, quickly if this wants to be used as support. Let's take a look at oil. So oil is running, so UCAD should be bearish because oil and CAD are positively correlated. We're expecting lower prices in DXY, so we're expecting lower prices in dollar, weak dollar, and CAD is looking at strength based on oil. So that wraps up for the week. Hope everyone has a great week. We'll talk soon.